Okay, perfect. That's us all set up technology-wise, and we're good to go. So thanks very much for taking the time out of your day to join us this morning for Dan and I to walk you through the IRP product release V9.1 and really the financial innovation and major UX enhancements. Myself, David, I head up customer success at IRP Commerce and would be working closely with yourselves on the account management team, utilizing the service marketplace.
Yeah, and I'm Dan Loughlin, CEO. Effectively, though, I am really involved in product development as much as my time as possible. So I'm very interested in seeing the product work successfully for people and for owners and teams to be successful. Maybe then I'll introduce the other character really on the in 9.1 that raises his head is the traffic spend monster. So we've turned that into a caricature because traffic spend is effectively what's going to dictate whether or not your business makes profit, in the sense of most of your other costs are fixed, but this is a variable cost. Your traffic spend, your CPA goes up and down, so it's really critical that we control traffic spend, and a lot of version 9.1 is built around that. How do we get sight of the monster and control the monster? And I suppose the problematic thing is it's only a monster when it's out of control. Traffic is obviously a necessary spend too. So 9.1, the financial innovations are built around visibility of this traffic spend. Merchant profit comes first. This is probably the difference between IRP and other companies in the market. We really believe that e-commerce is ultimately about one thing, and that is net profit. And we mean their net profit for business owners, essentially. And that's how a team is successful. So it's very important to us, and it drives the roadmap of the product. So while we can't do everything, we really think about that. And we've got a large team here that's constantly working in technology in the background. So that merchant profit message is the thing that matters to us, and we judge your success by effectively how much profit you make. We don't know your full overheads, but when you have your profit after traffic spend, that gives us a good indication. So really just to say that that's what drives the roadmap, and we want your contributions to that. Anyone that contributes in IRP world, over time we get round to looking at all the development we need to do.
Today we're going to cover off, again, there's quite a lot in the new functionality, the new platform release. First and front is around that monitoring controlled traffic spend, the live financial positions for day trading. So that's taken another step forward since the V9 release. The sales information window for yourself as e-commerce managers and for your account management, really the level of information and data in there to make the right trading decisions when it comes down to attribution. It really is a game changer. The sales attribution, understanding what channels are working and what aren't. We give you each touch point and across the board in Trader. The service marketplace is continuing to expand, and we're seeing great results with that whenever the right teams are in place to drive businesses forward. And it's all about continuous improvement and working together. And we've got trader speed improvements, the UX and front end, as well as speed improvements and subscriptions as well as part of the V9.1 release.
So to try and make it memorable as to what IRP stand for, we changed the E to a P, and we said P-commerce. Look, e-commerce is just about profit. The technology is the means a lot of the time, as are other things like your right buying, team structures, motivations, but the profit is the ends, and that's the result that we use to tell whether or not we're running successful e-commerce operations. So V9.1 has a breakthrough financial innovation, and it's to watch and control the traffic spend monster and effectively in real time, and that is central to this release, and we'll hopefully be able to show you that. If you do have your traders, if you've got you're logged into admin there, you can load this up and see it on your own sites, which will make a lot more sense to you than see it in an academic sense.
And if you do have your trader open in a second screen, or we will be sharing a recording afterwards, built into Trader, we with V9 and V9.1, you have the data across the top, where really IRP Trader continues to eliminate all the costs and the live trading positions. Here you get an idea of the daily spend based on the traffic sources that are bringing traffic to your site. There's no more guesswork on traffic, spend, impact, and merchant profit. This is a substantial financial innovation. You can quickly act with your team, with your account manager, on the day that you're spending on these channels. You'll have strategies that you'll be working on weekly, monthly, and you'll have targets per channel, but really being able to see in real time what that spend is and how that's impacting your sales each day over time builds up your knowledge to where the right trading decisions are made. The trading terminal upgrades are matched by major enhancement to IRP shopper UX across the board.
So yeah, this is the top of the trader system. Now, part of this isn't live dating to the stock holdings a little high, so they're actually using the stock from outside their own organization. But it shows you sales margin, gross profit. That is the exact same as retail. Like most businesses, you have sales, then your product margin, your gross profit. That's a very important number. But this number that we've highlighted beside it, the traffic spend, this is what's going to dictate whether or not your overall business makes money. And rather than have that coming in a month after you've been selling online, it's now live, and you can see that the breakdown of the sales and spend in real time on that day. And we also have linked down the bottom, say service market, but the service market just indicates that the marketplace is there. If you think your spend is too high, then you constantly have to assess your providers. Sometimes it is the providers, sometimes it's things like your own pricing. But effectively, your account manager should know those and be able to tell you whether or not those providers are delivering. But the final number to the right of it is actually the important one. That's your e-gross profit. So that is your gross profit after traffic spend. And we think that that number actually is a financial innovation in e-commerce, because gross profit's irrelevant if your traffic spend is too high. So that e-gross profit number is there at all times. And we will be constantly unpacking this now, and you'll see that from some of this work.
You may ask questions as you're looking at the data. Really, how accurate is the IRP data? It does calculate it in real time based off the traffic that's coming to your site. So we track every click that's coming from every channel, and your account management team enter the stats on a monthly basis, and we publish that. But we're able to refine down to partner ID, so it's pretty accurate. And when we look at the data versus what's in channel, in a number of scenarios we've looked through prior to the webinar, a business would still make the same decisions. So it's about giving you that without having to dig into lots of different channels or log into different systems. Really, by having an indication that's pretty accurate of where your business is going, you can make the right choices, and what you have everything that you need to trade by default directly within IRP. You should work closely with your AM on these decisions, and they will be able to help direct where traffic dollars or traffic money is spent to get you the best return on investment.
So you can see there we've changed a few S's to the dollar sign, trying to emphasize that, that this is the end result. It's whether or not you're actually delivering profit. So the data is critical, and the faster you have it, you can't get any faster than real time. So this helps you make decisions much more quickly and try and trade ahead of your market. The live positions. Just turn that down. Sales call. The live positions. This is the sales analysis part of Trader, and I guess we're doing the hover again to show you that traffic spend. And the other side is then your CPA and your target CPA. If you model in that percentage cost, so that's coming off your gross profit, that CPA is a very dictating factor on your success. So this live position effectively helps you to know well in advance whether or not you're making money. And like, I mean, it's interesting because some e-commerce companies they're not just running a month behind. They're finding out when the accountant does the accounts a month or two later, and it's a little too late then. So you can't get more important than real time. Down below, we're starting to see some of the innovations within the sales analysis and trader, and we can show you a little bit more of that. But the live day position is it's a little bit scary, I guess, for people too, because you're going to realize that despite lots of sales, the profit's what counts, and no e-commerce business is running high margins. It's got to be run very, very tight.
And really knowing the daily takings is a primary driver of IRP's day trading vision. The technology that underpins that to helps use as merchants really grow and giving you the visibility of the individual channel spend in real time. And then as Dan says, having that down to brand category and even SKU level really does influence those decisions in terms of what products are pushed, where promotions are ran, how you can merchandise and facilitate the sales of the full price products where you have a healthier margin.
I'll quip a line here that would written down. Today's success is based on today's profits. So in that sense, it's just like being in the shop. If you have a bad day and you're sitting at the till all day, you go home disappointed. So it's the same in e-commerce. It's literally, we think it's day trading, and if you're having a slow day, really everyone should be doing as much as possible to grab the business while it's there. That's the mindset.
And further enhancement in V9.1 is the sales information pop-up screen from sales analysis within Trader. And personally, I do feel this is a game changer. It really is an advancement. The level of detail that you have on your products that you can feed back into your merchandising strategies at a product level, you can see your sales in that time period, your margin, your gross profit, and what you've spent on traffic. And because we're tracking all clicks to the site and where the traffic is coming from, we're able to tell you a breakdown of country sales and then also a breakdown of the sales per channel. So in this specific model, you can see 78% of sales have come from email marketing and 14% from PPC. So really, as you build your knowledge of your product set, what channels are impacting those sales, it really does feed into what that strategy today, tomorrow, and next week looks like. Do certain products really resonate with repeat customers, or is a product doing really well with new first-time customers? What we see in the data basically is an average across all IRP merchants. 50% of merchant sales come from around 7 to 9% of all stock. And we have a report in your IRP admin that is called the Glenday Sieve. There is such a small set of SKUs that does impact your overall value. So it's about keeping that stock turning over and moving it at the right price point where you are making money on that.
Yeah, and this is, it's a new level of detail, and you can see there you have the data, the charts, and then the intelligence is coming along in the background. Individual products can be very, very important to businesses. It's not about saying we have a SKU set of 2,000 or whatever. Some people have 20,000 or 100,000 SKUs. Specific products can be very deep in markets. We see companies that are selling 20-30% of their profits are coming from really a small subset. It could be 5 products. So that ultra in-depth view on what's happening is going to be critical. The whole world is going down the data route. So we're now starting to realize that there's no we can't leave any data out. You can leave no stone unturned. You have to completely bottom out what's happening with the product. And we believe this sales information window is new data for e-commerce. For platforms, we don't see a match for that anywhere. And we're only just beginning. The next part is to apply the intelligence to it, the automation. I mean, what does it mean? What's it alerting you to do? But the first point of diagnosis is always to get the data. And the cure comes from, to use the sort of the medical physician looking at the data to go, right, what's it telling me to do? So this is the first point. We really think you can click on that in sales analysis, pop up that window, and really begin to understand that the products and your users' behavior. We think that specifically for products that are sold in depth, You can learn a lot. And by the way, you can do that by brand, by category, by SKU. The same data will come back for individual units and at aggregate level.
And because we do give you that at the brand and category level, the information there on screen is very, very important as you are adjusting and improving your strategies in your channels. For anyone who is reselling other brands, this will tie into how you categorize and bid on with your PPC and your Facebook stroke meta. It all does tie back into this. So having the visibility, it really does give you the power to make the right decision.
And maybe one last thing in the stock holding, it's really important not just to sell, but to buy. And I think that is where, that's more of a challenge for businesses that are predominantly retail. They don't buy in depth into, say, certain product lines because they know their shop sales are going to be a certain way. But this sometimes indicates that, you're buying for the web does have to be different to really succeed. And you can see there, this is, 8 days of stock left and there's a holding. It's the buying and the selling. And plus, the extra information, this is information you don't get. In Google Analytics, the sun is setting on it to a degree because they're getting more blocked legally and technically. We're looking at 80% rejection rates on third-party cookies. So it's going one direction. But you also have things like the reviews, how many reviews you've got, do you have product reviews on key products? If you're seeing one of your key products there that is, selling very well and you don't have any third-party affirmation, well, someone in the shop should be going in to go, right, you could even say it is your shop, but say, look, we're writing an in-depth review of this product, of what we think about it, because, that information and the total product information is totally critical. So yeah, as part of the product, we're proud of the level of depth we're getting to with Trader. And to be honest, even though this data can't be got anywhere, it's just the beginning for IRP.
The next slide is around the sales attribution. So as we know, and everyone on the call, there was lots of changes with Google last year to GA4. This year really is the year of the removal of the cookies, where there's been a number of court cases against Google and their tracking. And really it is coming into force where you have to give the user control of what can be tracked and what can and can't be tracked. From that, we are seeing, as Dan said, between 50 and 80% of people with the consent form on visit the site aren't accepting. And that really does impact what's been tracked in Google Ads, what's been tracked in Google Analytics. And with IRP first-party data, we track everything from sales conversions to the path to purchase, what channel they've been on, and when we can measure out the cost per click. Not only is this information really, really important for you as a business to understand what channels aren't working, understanding your customer, you should be always using this information and sharing it with your digital agencies, because the more visibility they have of this, they'll be able to improve the bidding strategies on each of the channels. Because as consent becomes a bigger thing as we move through the year, and Google Consent Mode V2, their view in Google Ads, etc., will become more and more limited. So the more accurate data they have, the better those decisions will be, whether that's factoring into things like high returns rates or products that you've really, really high margin on. The joined up approach is what we are seeing best across the agencies and the account managers as well.
Yeah, and this is, we say we track first click, last click, and every single click in between. So we're tracking everything that we can get on the partner ID. And that gets lost then to the third parties. It's really a benefit to companies that are working first party because, formerly third party analytics, had huge resources potentially put behind it. They maybe didn't have certain information around profit and sort of key things like that around margin. But, as time's moving here, first party analytics is absolutely critical. And, this information is very, very interesting to look at. I mean, we're looking at how do we automate, insights out of this or automate actions out of it. But you go into some people's click trail and it's 20 clicks through emails or coming back direct. Even on PPC, people must be popping open 6 or 7 windows on when they've come across a search, and that's cost 6 or 7 clicks. So there's a real wealth of information in this, and I suppose the next level beyond this that we do record is mouse movements. Is there information in mouse movements or touch movements on screens? And there's only a certain amount you can know, but each thing is a tell. What does it mean? What is the customer trying to tell you? I think most of the time it's the time is of the essence. Don't have messaging that's on the fence. Really strongly state your position, because if they're going to pop open 6 Google Shopping windows and cost 6 clicks, you'd prefer they didn't. So the information is now there. We're very excited about this, to be honest. And it's only the beginning again of what does it mean. But the first thing is we've got it, we've recorded it, it's accurate, and yeah, the next part will be data intelligence.
This did come in V9 prior to Christmas. Now in 9.1 it has been enhanced. So really, the service marketplace is something that we have been working with our agencies and the platform in the last sort of 12 months to really integrate that into Trader and give merchants choice, because that is very much what it is about. You want to be able to pick the best team, whether that's from your account manager, from your PPC, your Facebook or affiliates provider. And it's about the accountability of that. So we measure that on a monthly basis, and the results are shared with merchants, business owners, and the agencies as well. There is leaderboards saying that the service marketplace generates off the results, but really the accountability and the continuous work of those agencies and providers is going to be the difference between success and failure for your business. So everyone in e-commerce in the SME space is very reliant on service providers and account managers, and really them buying into that vision and helping you as businesses and e-commerce managers is critical to controlling your CPA and helping you reach your sales target.
Yeah, and this is something that hasn't made, IRP that many friends in some ways, because we believe that it needs to be built around the merchants. The agencies or the people doing your services are there to deliver you success. So, this is a total difference between us and other platform providers, because we track that data. We track not just the channel data, but who's doing it. And from that, you have what is in the right-hand side there, the percentile. This is actually a bit of real-world data. We can't say which company, but it's the provider is critical to your success. You're not just using technology. So any time you see something online that expresses that a platform changes the world for people, it's utter nonsense. You're a platform, and you have then critical services. It's the combination. And that makes it complex, because there is no single feature that's going to transform your business. There isn't a silver bullet to any of it. There is an underlying set of math equations which absolutely dictates your profit, and that is well understood. Traffic conversion, AOV, knock off your margin, gross profit, knock off your traffic spend, gross profit, knock off your overheads, net profit. That's how much profit that the company made. So it's well understood. That math is not dependent on any platform, whether it's IRP, Magento, Shopify, anything. It's dependent. The math is well understood. So this is really important. We think services are just as critical as technology. And a big part of our software engineering push was, let's track this. We've removed the logo on the far left there for the provider, but that is in your IRPs if you load up Trader. Then you have the far right part, percentile, CPA, totally critical, growth. The percentile is how much is that channel growing for you and your provider versus what the market sees. And if you're sitting there in a very negative view of how that service is going and a very high CPA, well, you really have to think about it, because no feature or piece of technology will change that. You have to think about the service and the service provider. Through Marketing Cloud, IRP makes it very easy for these companies to connect into Google PPC or do AWIN feeds or do email marketing. But at the end of the day, service provider is key. At the end of the day, also in your organizations, your team is key. Your account manager, your e-commerce manager, And they should work very closely with the account managers and the agencies because the account manager has seen lots of data out there, so they should be able to give you, a wider view on it all.
Just conscious of time, we've just a few minutes to go, so we'll kind of go through the last couple of slides. A big piece, we know everyone's busy day to day, and we know the faster IRP is, the easier and more efficient it is for you guys. So there has been a major investment in it's a trader. There's so much data in there, and it calculates so much in real time, but it's 3 times faster than the previous version, and that is across the board from mission control and sales analysis. And we partner with Microsoft Azure, which is one of the leading tech companies in the world, and they have major investments in AI. And we're continuing to review that and seeing how we can build into the platform. But just to kind of be aware, we are continuously trying to speed up and make it as fast as possible to make your days as efficient as possible.
Yeah, and that you'll find that very noticeable. There's just continual investment going into that. About 30% of our transaction fees are spent into hosting environments. So we've had people full time in this, and we're pleased with the direction it's going. It's just the data queries. There's so much data and so much to pull that there has to be a lot of work to get it faster. So we're very pleased with the progress managed to make in that. Sometimes the queries, when you write them, you don't even know if they're going to work. So we know we're on the route here to ever more speed. You'll notice the difference.
Visually, and this is usually what most merchants like, because they can see it on the front end. IRP Commerce Cloud is an end-to-end e-commerce solution, from the front end to what your customers see, to the data and your day-to-day management of your e-commerce business. In version 9.1, there has been a major investment in the user experience as well as speed. So the listings page has been completely redeveloped from the ground up, bringing a lot more flexibility to that page. It's 2 times faster than the previous version. And you do say it's configurable within your admin and your account managers. We had a session with them last Friday, and your account managers will already be speaking to you on this. But the flexibility of the number of products you show, from 3 wide, 4 wide, 5 wide, whether the navigation is on the top or on the left, and the configuration and setup will be very dependent on your industry and your customer and what they expect on site. But I say there's quick buy functionality. You can browse the images rather than just a hover over on the listings. And it's really syncs up that mobile and desktop experience across the board.
Yeah, and IRP, I guess, has focused very heavily on data, and as a company now, we're very conscious of investing into major UX projects. So this is the start of it. That'll be rolled out. Some of the sites it's already rolled out, and it's a start of just a major investment into UX. UX obviously impacts conversion, and so we take it extremely seriously. This is the beginning of the investments and projects. There'll also be models page and a number of others coming up, and continual work in the UX over the course of 2024.
As part of V9.1, we've also rolled out subscriptions. So that's currently live with a couple of merchants, where repeat purchase, and you now have the ability to layer first-time purchase promotions, really to incentivize getting someone to sign up for a subscription. Overall, what we are seeing is there is major recurring revenue opportunities, and we would encourage you, if you do feel that subscriptions is a good fit for your business, speak to your CSM or your account manager, and we can just see how that looks.
Yeah, and it's not for every market. It's interesting in that we can completely internationalize these, so it's a strong implementation of subscriptions, but we know that it's certain markets and not all markets. Yeah, I mean, it's probably a joint finish. The information on the version 9.1 release will go out to you. The product release notes you should have, we can send them again. The listing pages, the knowledge base for UX are going to be there. We'll also send, I guess, e-commerce market data. So we do publish that, and if you type in e-commerce market data in Google, you'll see that IRP are coming up naturally as #1. So it says that the data it's been cited. Actually, I noticed BigCommerce and Shopify cited it, which was nice, because the data is hard to get, particularly on cost per acquisitions in markets and a number of things like that.
And then the last point really is the IRP Commerce Cloud roadmap. We really do genuinely appreciate everyone's feedback and anything that is added to the roadmap. It is independently reviewed by the product team. So we would encourage everyone on the call and everyone who's going to listen to the recording, please do continue to add to the roadmap. It is very, very important for the advancement of the IRP platform and ensuring it is continuing to meet merchants' needs. And you're the ones who are using it every single day, so your feedback is critical. And really, the future for IRP is helping merchants make more profit.
Yeah, and the traffic spend monster to the right has come up again there. That's going to dictate whether or not you make money, and it's worth looking into that in a bit of detail. It is a monster, but unfortunately, it's a necessary one. It is only a monster when it starts to go over your CPA. And of course, there's ways you can control it: conversion, good service providers, continual vigilance through IRP, real-time monitoring now at the top of the website. So we'll see whether we stick with this character into the next version of 9.2. We'll see.
That is everything Dan and I wanted to cover today. We'd just like to say a big thanks for everyone who attended. I'm going to stop the recording now, and we do have a couple of minutes if anyone has any questions as well.